Hey there, Tundra Nation! Welcome back to the channel. Today on Tundra Tactical, we're going Fudd hunting. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and let's start the show. But before we do go Fudd hunting, make sure you like, subscribe, favorite, write your congressman, spay and neuter your kids, take time to play with your pets, eat enough fiber because let's be honest, you're not getting any younger, and do whatever you're supposed to do on Snapchat to get more quality content like this. Oh, and for the people that are annoyed with channels asking for people to subscribe, I'd slap you, but that would probably be classified as animal abuse. In fact, if you hate idiots that think their opinion is better than yours, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and make sure to ring that notification bell just to spite them. Seriously, my dudes, go take your shiny personality somewhere else. Speaking of shiny, this week's sponsor is Acre Gold. Not too long ago, I realized that Tiger King was probably going to be the most normal part about 2020. And that got me thinking, what the heck should I do if it all goes wrong?
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Since it seems I was just a little bit slow regarding the topic of being prepared, I decided to take a look at some of the best ways to protect my family's financial future. With the value of gold nearly tripling in the last 20 years, it seems the best way to afford that next brick in 9mm or 5.56 is hoarding all of the gold that you can. One of the best ways to do this is piece by piece. For just $50 a month, you can start building your way to your first 2.5 gram piece of gold, and once you reach that value, it's shipped directly to you. So thanks Acre Gold for sponsoring this week's video. Maybe I'll actually be able to trade somebody for those small pistol primers now. Here's to hoping. Now this should be obvious due to the fact that Fudds really can't understand how to use the old confuser all that well, but it's actually quite hard to find some of the purest Fudd related content on the internet. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely out there, but in the literal tens of minutes I spent preparing for this video, I only found a few Fudd-related things for us to comment on. So for the sake of this video, we're redefining the Fudd to include every stupid, stubborn, or just plain ignorant person out there, so we can pull this video out of our ass at the last second. This first one may throw a few of you for a loop due to the presence of the AK prominently displayed at the top. Don't worry though, I know exactly what's going on here. Some emotionally fragile Fudd borrowed his buddy's AK to instill doubt in all the haters out there as to this particular guy's Fudd status. You may say, but Tyler, how do you know that? Well, it's easy. If you look closely, you're gonna find some of the telltale signs of Fuddery staring you right in the face. Moving from right to left, we have every boomer's favorite boomer, the Springfield XD. Note the absence of the M on the end there. That's right, folks. This is an original XD. Bruh. Now, most of you guys know that I think the XD line of handguns, if you can even call them that, are more disgusting than mayonnaise and should be retroactively wiped from the collective minds of every shooter since 1999.
Fight me, haters!
It's also the subcompact, which is the ugliest version of the original XD. And I don't know why the OP did this, but if you look very closely, you'll see that for whatever reason, they took the spacer off the larger of the two mags. My only guess is that shiny objects intrigue Fudds, and he probably thinks that it looks better next to his chromed out Rock Island 1911. Not pictured. Smack dab in the middle of this pixelated definition of poor, we see what I think is a pistol grip only Mossberg 500, a staple firearm in every Fudd arsenal. Now I'll spare you the agony of roasting every part of this gun and just summarize by saying that if you own any type of tactical shotgun, you're not necessarily a Fudd, but my plat alarm is going off and you're probably not fooling anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your left, you'll see one of the most notorious examples of bad decision making, a Smith & Wesson SD9 VE. This may be one of the first guns ever actually marketed as a just as good gun by the original manufacturer. So much so that it actually ended up backfiring on Smith and they ended up getting sued by Glock. Some would say this just lends claim to the fact that the firearm may be just as good as a Glock, but I don't believe you, and your parents are ashamed of you for thinking that. The only thing I have to say to this guy is, somewhere out there, my friend, there is a tree tirelessly producing oxygen, and I think you owe it an apology. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know where to start with this picture. It's kind of like one of those the longer you look at it, the worse it becomes type of pictures, am I right? I'll tell you what, we're just gonna move right past the fact that this guy looks like a discount Tom Petty impersonator, got into a high-speed collision with a week-old Arby's roast beef sandwich, and then forgot the basic practice of daily hygiene for about a decade. We're gonna then dive right into the message of this perfect example of fantastic fuddery. Actually, no, hold up, stop. I know I just said I wasn't gonna talk about this guy looking like Tom Petty and everything, but the fact that he's opening his comment up talking about guitar is way too obvious to be a coincidence. I mean, this guy has to know what old TP looks like, and then he has to have intentionally styled his look after him. I mean, you do you, bud, but come on, let's be honest here. You could have taken a better route. I guess what they say is true. Meth is one hell of a drug. I'm sure by this point you are all screaming at me to get to the gigantic elephant in the room here and talk about the fact that old boy is using a high-point carbine to go hog hunting. You know what, I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt here and assume that he's at least using a 45 ACP or maybe even a 10mm. Many moons ago, my 400-pound middle school shop teacher always used to say make sure to use the right tool for the job. But I hate to say it, bud, on the scale of useless, this gun sits somewhere between the A, Y, and OK and a Yankee Marshall video. This dude is obviously the reason UTG's flashlight division is still in business, and let's not forget to notice that 65-year-old Redfield-esque scope that he's got sitting on top of this thing, which I'm sure he claims will not only hold a zero, like that's a boasting point, but will give him the ability to put down 2-inch groups out of his American-made masterpiece at 400 yards. Cut your hair, stop trying to convince yourself that you're not a real hippie, and go back to playing guitar. Take it away, Frank.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay?
Our next contestant wins the award for the most fantastic, fanatical fuddery of all time. I mean, this guy gets so hot in his little micro rant here that I wouldn't be surprised if he woke up that morning pissing Tabasco sauce. Although, judging by his hat, that's probably unlikely. He uses the classic poor/cheap-ass FUD excuse of, oh, I shouldn't be made fun of because the Second Amendment isn't only for the rich. Well, you know what, dude? I actually agree with you on that one. But let's just say that calling someone a poor really means that it's more about poor decision making and not always about low income. Let's be real here, man. You are a deal hunting, dumpster diving bargain boy just as gooder. Nothing about what you're saying here makes any sense at all. I'm sure one of your favorite pastimes is talking with your buddies about how the millennials have it so easy because you had to walk to school uphill both ways, in the snow, with friggin' alligators chasing you. And if that's the case, they're definitely laughing at you and your garbage factory gun because if a college student can manage their money well enough to save up $400 for a used Glock 19, your crusty old ass could too. But you were too cheap to listen to the people who actually know what they're talking about and decided to believe Jerry from down the street when he told you how awesome his new G2C was. I mean, it seems like these guys are all from the same family tree or something. Everything they say is just exactly the same. It's like their family tree is more like a wreath, and I'll tell you what, that gene pool could use some chlorine. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this week, folks. If you dislike this video, then you probably think it's too similar to Gun Meme Review, and you're gonna get big mad down in the comments.
There are no brakes on this commie fuck train.
But if you like the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and share it around with your friends. Consider subscribing to the channel and checking out our Patreon page to stay up to date on current and future content. And if you feel like repping some Tundra swag, follow the link in the description below to our new store on Teespring. Thanks for watching, Tundra Nation, and you can now find us on Instagram at Tundra Tactical MN.